Good morning, traders, and this is your DAX day trade technical analysis. Looking for some day trade setups. So, as expected, we did gap down fairly strongly as well. Not quite sure we found support at a level that I would be interested in. So, we're kind of in this area here, and we'll fine tune that on the lower time frames at the moment, but I suppose there is a daily fractal here. And there's quite a bit of daily fractals off this area here. So I suppose that is probably what it should be. Okay. The thing is, this engulfing here is still fairly significant for me. And as I said yesterday, I'm waiting for the pullback for the opportunity to get in to see if this pattern is going to play out. So what we have on the daily is we are in an upward trend. Oscillators are all over the place at the moment. There's no clear indication of what's going on. If we start drilling down to the lower time frames, you'll see that we are pretty much back in that range. As we said yesterday, there's the bottom of the range, there's the top of the range. So we've sort of gapped almost to the 50%, and more importantly, just have a look at the 150 EMA. There it is there. And you can see how we found support on that on the 3-hour for quite a few weeks now. And the start of this week is exactly what we found. It was pretty much going nowhere until the US closed last night. So I think that last bar is pretty much all happened as the market was running into the close. So it's not an area that I want to be chasing entries at sort of going into the close. So I'm still looking for a level. Okay. Now, there are a few scenarios here. So pretty much where we are right now, and I'm just going to fine tune it a little bit. So I've got that fractal, then I've got this fractal here. And you can see rejection, support, rejection, we're a bit higher than that, rejection, and then haven't come back to test support, and we are now coming back to it at the moment. So that's the first area that I think we need to pay attention to. And I'll give you all those levels now once we look at this on the hour. Right. So the first area that we need to pay attention to is pretty much where we are now. And I'm looking at 10.612. And you can see on the hour rejection, 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 support, support, support. Okay. Quite a bit going on at that level, and then just a little bit higher up is even more interaction happening. So first area of interest for me is this one right here, 10.612. Now the futures market at the moment is up. Let me just find what the DAX is right now. And DAX futures is 10.605, fairly flat. So we're kind of right here, just a couple of points above where we closed. So this is the first area that I'm watching. Okay, if we get any form of bearish price action off this area, I'd definitely be looking for a move to the downside. And that move to the downside first target is going to be this level down here, what we're bouncing off, which is 10.477. Okay, now the structure that builds is quite simple. Fairly strong move down, range. Then I'm looking for my second move to the downside. Second move to the downside is something along the lines of that. Okay, but this area here, 10.239, is the area that I would actually target to start with, because that's bottom of range. It's going to take quite a bit of effort to get through that area if you look at what's been going on over the last couple of weeks. Okay, that's the one scenario. So, in other words, this was an uptrend. We've now had a fairly strong reversal off that. And now what we're doing is consolidating for another move down. The other view And I think the Fibonacci is probably not going to give us anything here. Not really. The other view that is that this is a deeper pullback. In other words, this was the upward trend. This is the deep pullback, consolidation, break to the upside as expected. Okay. And what gives that view a little bit of merit, let me just change this. Okay, so what gives that a bit of merit is the fact that this trend line, 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, we've broken through it. Okay, so there are two scenarios that I'm looking at the moment, and the one is this breakout of consolidation. So that's the structure I'd be looking at. So in other words, a break above 10612. I'm looking for a retest. That retest can happen on the 15 minutes, can happen on the 5 minutes. Not really particularly worried about it. I'm just looking for a close above that level and then a retest on one of the lower time frames. And then my target is pretty much, first target is going to be 10754. Second target is going to be the gap close, which would be 10812. Okay. This 10812, and I'm going to have to put another level. Let me just use this level here because that's okay. So then we have, I don't know what we want to call that, but let's just call it a clutch of resistance. So we're going to have 10812, we're going to have 10855, and then we're going to have 10892. Okay, so those areas there are pretty much where you've got some support, where you've got resistance there. And what we're looking for is this top of range to go and then find support on that level. Okay, so plan of action for me is fairly simple. We have a range, we have a trend line, we have a potential trend reversal on the 15-minute right now. If we do get above 10612, I want to see price move up. I want to see it come back. I want to see it hold this level. Then it is long and long for 10754 and then 10612. Those are my first two targets. Okay. Then what I'm looking for is to see what happens in one of these support areas here. So the first logical one for me is 10754 because often the gaps don't close. This depends what kind of catalyst we've got to drive this. If we do close a gap, it's also an area which we want to be watching. Now, I just want to come to the 3 hours so that we can just change the color of the range so we know that that is the range. There it is there. I'll make the 15. So now we know that that is top of range. Okay, so that's pretty much my line in the sand. And what we're looking for is a retest of that because it's the level we've broken to the downside. I'm looking for a retest of that area. If we get that retest, then we get price action that is indicating a rejection of that level, then that is a short opportunity for me, and that brings out the targets. Obviously, firstly, top of range of what happened yesterday, and I'm going to fine tune that to there. Got a few more touches at that area there, and then also I'm going to fine tune this to the downside because that is my range of yesterday. So good proper range day from yesterday. So break to the upside does give us the height of the range, if not more. So the height of the range is pretty much something like that. Okay, and I will just extend that to this 10754. Break of the range to the downside gives us that, but I'd also extend that. I don't think there's a level up there. Oh, there is. Okay, so you can see there's quite a bit of interaction at that area. So we've got, there's a low, and then we have all of this interaction here. That's fairly significant. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So let's just summarize it quickly. So we've had a downward trend. We've had a moving average crossover. We had a grouping of our oscillators. Our oscillator is now grouping to the upside, which is indicating I need to be looking for a level. Question is this the level, exactly where we are now? Or are we going to sort of open with a small gap up, pull back, close the gap, find support at 10,573, and then move up to come and test this level? So 10,754. Any sort of gap up and rejection of this level here at 10,573 would have me long, and I'm looking for 10,754. 150 points, okay? Possibly gap close, but I don't think I'll trace that gap close. This level's too strong for me to worry about an extra couple of points for a gap. Then the idea is to watch what happens, firstly at 10,754. Then if we do get through that, watch what happens at the gap, 10,812. Then you have 10,855, and then you have 10,892. The idea is to watch what happens in that area. When you get a confirmation that the level has been rejected, that is going to give you an opportunity to be short, and your short target is going to be this breakout here, 10,573. If you get through that level, then you're looking for 10,443. If you get through that level, then you're definitely looking at 10,312. And what I mean by when you get through the level, I would just watch it on the 15-minute to see what's happening. You see any kind of bullish price action on the level, take your profit, wait to see what transpires, probably bounce up a bit, find some resistance either on like 150 or on a moving average or something, starts rejecting that, gives you another opportunity to short it and back down. And the converse is true to the long side. So you're definitely going to have a bounce off this 10,754, pull back, find support on like a 150 or one of the moving averages, and then back in for a long, and then you're looking to watch what happens here. So once you've rejected a major level and it pulls back and you're back in to trade in the direction you were going, it more than likely it will have a second attempt at level. So if it does reject the second attempt, then you have an issue. Then you get out of it, watch what transpires. But sometimes what happens is it goes back and it just hovers and it keeps trying to push, then it pushes through. Then all you're doing is you're moving your stop up to that major level, just below that, lock some profit in. And now you want to see what happens. So you just let it run, see if it breaks through these minor levels. If it breaks through those minor levels, then this whole setup that you see here was just a deep pullback, pretty much to test the range break. We just went a little bit further than testing a range break. And now what we're looking for is the range target. And that is something like that, which target was hit. But remember, V reversals are rare. So that pretty much could be, look for a second attempt back to the top. Okay, so not much in the line of decent swing trades at the moment, but there's definitely some opportunities to trade to these smaller levels. There are some smaller trades here, and 100, 150 point trades on the DAX is not too shabby at all. Sort of 1% moves, which is not bad at all when you're talking about the DAX. Okay, so that's kind of my structure for the DAX. Hope it helps you, and we will catch up with you later. Cheers for now.